Thanks for tuning in and welcome back to the shop. Today I'm tackling the final pieces in our Overland camper kitchen cabinet install, the upper cabinet doors. Now I know IKEA may not be everybody's first choice for an Overland camper kitchen build, but it gives us a really clean look, keeps costs down, and if something isn't holding up after a few years, we can really easily swap the piece out for a new piece off the shelf at IKEA. Or, with a little extra work, we can use the IKEA part as a template to rebuild the part out of a more durable material, knowing that this is the setup and configuration that we want. So with all the IKEA arguments settled, let's get on with installing the doors. The two upper cabinets are the Knoxalt model. They're 30 inches wide, and on the inside, they're 13 3/4 inches deep and 13.5 inches high. So we'll have plenty of storage space on the inside. And you've probably noticed that these don't use the same style of hinge as the lower cabinet doors. These use the Overture. You trust a hinge? You trust a hinge? These hinges don't attach to the cabinet doors in the same intuitive way as the lower cabinets, and to make it even worse, we have to miss all the pre-drilled holes. And I know what you're thinking. If the holes that I drill are not exactly in the right spot, we won't get that perfect IKEA fit. So we may need to use the instructions. You trust the instructions? IKEA instructions can sometimes be a little bit on the confusing side. But this time, IKEA has provided a perfect little jig to help get the screws in exactly the right spot. It's kind of like they're saying, we know our instructions can be a little confusing, so here's a tool to help you get it right. Just remember to always use the right tool for the job. Look, with all due respect to whoever designed the Phillips head screw, if you're a manufacturer designing stuff, please stop using it. Now really, if you're having this kind of trouble trying to get the screws to go through the upper surface, the trick is to just push your center punch in a bit deeper to open the hole up to let the screw get started. But if you just used Robertson head screws, they stay on the driver bit. Now there's two more things I need to do before I can put these doors on. First, I want to finish attaching the cupboards to the wall brackets that I put in about 6 weeks ago, saying that I was going to wait 24 to 48 hours for the tape adhesive to kind of cure. Well, I think I've met that 24 to 48 hour requirement. Stop using Phillips screws. Installing screws when the screw wants to stay on the bit is so much easier, and it makes the job simple. Phillips screws have their place, but for most jobs, it's like trying to hammer in a screw. It's ineffective and likely to leave you with a sore thumb. Mounting screws are in, cabinets are nice and tight. Time for the latches. For the lower cabinets, when I was installing the latches, I made myself a printed jig that sat over the corner of the door so that I could get them in the exact same place every single time. Now with the upper cabinets, the latch is going to be in the middle, so that jig wouldn't do me any good anyway. But since I only have two cupboards here, it's really not a big deal to do the same thing twice. We know this is a 30-inch wide door, so the center is going to be at 15 inches. I know from my jig that I need to come up 1 3/8 inches from the edge of the door. And because these doors overhang the edge, I need to come up about 7/8 of an inch past the edge of this. So 7/8 plus 1 3/8 inches. Metric is so much easier. These latches are easy to install. Just a hole saw and a screwdriver. I drill from both sides for a clean cut, and once drilled, the install only takes a few seconds. For these thicker doors, I've 3D printed a thinner backplate. Check my other videos for more info on these installs and subscribe so you don't miss any future build updates. Can we just all agree to stop with the Phillips screws? And finally, we can install the door, by releasing the latches and gently bringing them to the ceiling. And the next trick is slipping this above the hinges at the same time on each side. And we want to get the back or the top of the hinge to be the part that latches in first. Like that. Like that. There we go. Snap that on. Snap it on there. Now our door is installed on the hinges. And the last thing that we need to do is adjust the tension on each of the hinges right here so the door can hold itself up. I hope you can see the humor in this, because at this point, to adjust these, IKEA didn't use a Phillips bit. They use a 6-point star. And it's not included with the "You Trust a Hinge." No problem. So, I'm gonna tighten this. I'm gonna go to the middle. Right there. And then we're gonna repeat the same thing on the other side. That feels about right. I'll put some little rubber bumpers up on the roof so that it doesn't slam into the roof, and you can see that it just clears the lights. Now, unfortunately, I did a little bit of a miscount. I thought I had 8 of these latches, where in fact I only had 6, and I need 7. So I'm gonna have to order some more. And if you want these type of latches, take a look in the video description. I'll put a link there so you can get some of your own. Last thing for the hinges, we need to pop plastic covers in place. And that's that. Now, of course, if you're using overhead cabinets like this in your build, please make sure you always place contents, wheels or handles first, and use caution when opening the doors after travel, as contents may have shifted. So other than this last latch, our kitchen cabinet build is now complete. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to tune in next week for our inspirational 100th episode of The Slow Build.